Okay, gonna take a look at top recommended Fuji telephoto lens. Well, what's the premise for saying that this is Fuji's best telephoto lens? Well, I have tested and used them all finally, and I've used every Fuji lens so far except for the 16mm, which I'm not interested in that focal length. The 18 to 35 proved to be a sad little lens. There was nothing exceptional about it, nothing outstandingly horrible about the 18 to 135, but it was definitely not a good lens. The 50 to 140 2.8, which I was able to finally try out last week, not only is insanely huge, insanely expensive, but it costs no object and doesn't matter what you pay, you simply want the best lens. I still cannot recommend the 50 to 140 f2.8 Fuji. It just was not an impressive lens. It certainly made balancing the Fuji radically front heavy, not that this doesn't also, but this 55 to 200 Fujinon lens is actually quite light. It's only 2.2 pounds. It's a lot lighter than it looks. There's also nothing outstanding about the rather expensive, and necessarily so. I mean, as a fast f2.8 lens, it should be so, as would be the case with Nikon or Canon or anybody else, but there's absolutely nothing impressive about it. At its cost point, there was nothing outstanding there. It was not exceptionally fast in autofocus, and it was not overtly impressive. The most unimpressive, certainly so, was the 50 to 230. It was very slow. It's a slow lens. It's a f4.5 to 6.7. It's actually slow in autofocus. It's not built that well. Certainly it is the bottom rung of Fujinon telephoto lenses, and it's priced accordingly. I mean, if you want a budget telephoto lens, I mean, it's right down there. I think you can actually get a gray market one for, what, about $230 or something like that. I was able to try it out, and it certainly is not a definite buy by any way, shape, or means, and it does an exceptionally low price, which is wonderful, but even at that low price, there's no way I could possibly consider it. Now, it is the case that I have a mountain of Nikon glass, so I am using to a great deal Metabones adapter with lenses and using focus peaking on the on the Fujifilm X-T1 and X-T10 that I have. But if you're not familiar with mirrorless, doesn't matter whether it's Fuji or anybody else, focus peaking with a long telephoto lens, regardless of how good the lens is, absolutely sucks. Handheld, certainly so. And when you're out there at the 35mm equivalent of 200 plus, I've got some special skills on steady hand-holding, but with focus peaking and hand-holding, it really does suck, and it's not something that's desirable at all. So I knew that to use this system in conjunction with my Nikon system, which is certainly not going anywhere, that I would have to have one Fuji telephoto lens, and this is certainly it. So what is the reasoning for that, and why is this the best purchase? Well, certainly Fuji's the best telephoto. Currently the price on it for sale is $500. Typically it is $700, but right now it's on sale, I think, until the end of December. The comparable 35mm focal length on this is 84mm to 305mm. I said maximum aperture is f3.5 to 4.8. Minimum focusing distance is 3.6 feet. It's 14 elements in 10 groups. Minimum focusing distance is 3.6 feet. 62mm front filter. Total weight on it is 2.2 pounds. Yes, it does have optical image stabilization. Let me remove off the plastic lens hood there. Let you take a look at the lens. Now, let me zoom the lens out. Back here you can see how far it extends. No different than any other lens like it, including the Nikon 70-300 VRG and several other lenses like it. Now, the build quality in this is actually exceptional. One thing, well, actually not one thing, there are several things that make this lens absolutely head and shoulders above other Fuji telephotos, and that this lens is extremely sharp. Near to far, this lens is incredibly sharp. And now the color transference rendition from this lens is actually quite incredible. Even though it has 14 elements, it has actually, which is really unheard of in a telephoto in this range, whether it's DX or FX, or Nikon or Canon or anybody else, it does actually have really good bokeh. The autofocus on it is extremely quiet. Like I said, it is much lighter than it looks. It's 2.2 pounds. And one thinks, simply has been said by others, that a simple lightweight mirrorless system is meant to be kept light, but actually, as far as the balance of holding this particular lens mounted on either the XT1 or the XT10, it actually is incredibly well balanced, contrary to what one would think. Anybody that actually mounts this on a Fuji XT1 or XT10 is not going to notice obnoxious difference insofar as where the balance has been thrown forward to the lens mount. It is actually quite nice. Build quality, like I said, is exceptional. Very quiet autofocus. Now, one thing that's really great on this, and others have commented as well, and I found it exceptional in testing when I was able to test this copy a few weeks ago and finally bought mine. Yes, I actually bought this and I own it and paid for it with my own money. Is the optical image stabilization on this Fujinon 55 to 200 millimeter is mind-bending. It is not good. It is not great. It is mind-bending. It's exceptional. It's really, really, really well done. So kudos to Fuji on that. They really hit one out of the park on this. Like I said, 62 millimeter front filter. And now that I was able to test and test drive all the Fuji telephoto lenses, this 55 to 200 f 3.5 to 4.8 absolutely does spank the other Fuji lenses. The others being the 18 to 135, the 50 to 140, and the 50 to 230. It does beat them. And not only beats them by a little bit, it beats them by a good distance when you take all attributes. Like I said, sharpness is certainly not everything. Absolutely so. One of the things that defines a true characteristic of a lens, like anything else, is not one attribute. It is many combined, and you have to go down the scale. And going down the scale, the attributes in this lens are exquisite. It is an exceptional lens, and I give it the top recommendation as the must-own telephoto Fujinon lens for your Fuji X series system, be that XT1, XT10, or one of the rangefinders. However, I'm not a rangefinder fan, at least not mirrorless rangefinders, that is. So I'm a bit old. Back in the days of film, I think of rangefinders, I think of film cameras, and that's where I draw the line on rangefinders. Pardon me if that's heresy to you, but I'm not very fond of mirrorless rangefinders. But that's subjective, okay? And who gives a damn about what I subjectively think about rangefinders? However, objectively so, as is the case, not my personal opinion, taking all criteria, attributes, and my experience with lenses, and having tested all Fujinon lenses, except for one, the 16 millimeter, and certainly tested all the Fujinon telephoto lenses, it is unequivocal that the king, the master of the domain, the one that sits upon the throne to have, is the 55 to 200, as you see here, as mounted on the XT1. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can tell me to jump off a cliff, or you can drop me a buck or two, or make a happy comment. I'm actually pleased to help you, and that is my ultimate goal. I do not have any ulterior motives. I am not paid, pimped, or shilled by anybody to promote any particular product. I thought I would take logic, experience with lenses, which is extremely vast, and cut out the middleman, the crap as found in photography magazines, and all the shilled puppets and idiots with a hand up their backside on YouTube that have an agenda, be it hidden or otherwise, and eliminate that crap and get to the damn point and make a logical, sensible recommendation based upon experience and objective empirical criteria and facts. How novel a thought that is. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you later.